Welcome to the Daily History Chronicle. Each day, we travel back to discover a pivotal moment that changed the world. These aren't just dates and facts. They're stories of courage, conflict, innovation, and consequence that still echo through our lives today. Are you ready to explore? Let's see what happened on this day in history.
March 12th, 1928. 11:57 p.m., San Francisco Canyon, California. Tony Harnischfeger, the dam keeper, is in bed with his wife and two children. Their home sits 1,200 feet below the St. Francis Dam, 205 feet of concrete, holding back 12.4 billion gallons of water. The ground rumbles. Tony thinks earthquake, California, normal, but it intensifies. Trees snap. The air fills with thunder that won't end. Tony realizes what's happening. He runs outside, screaming warnings into the darkness. 3 minutes before midnight, the St. Francis Dam collapses. The center section, weighing thousands of tons, disintegrates. Wings of concrete break free. A 140-foot wall of water explodes down the canyon at 18 miles per hour, carrying 10,000-ton blocks of concrete like rafts on a wave. Tony Harnischfeger, his wife Leona, and their 6-year-old son Coder are killed instantly. Their bodies will be found days later, swept downstream. Of the 75 families living in the canyon, just beneath the dam, only a few survive. The water races through 5 towns. Castaic Junction is swept clean as a pool table. A power camp downstream. 84 workers killed in minutes. The Ruiz family, all 7 members, washed away in their car. Fillmore, Santa Paula, Peru. By dawn, when the water finally reaches the Pacific Ocean, 54 miles away, at least 431 people are dead. The real number is probably over 600. Many undocumented farm workers, never counted, never missed. Bodies will be found for the next 66 years. The last discovery, 1994. It's the worst American civil engineering disaster of the 20th century. California's 3rd deadliest catastrophe ever, after the 1906 earthquake and the 1918 flu pandemic. And it was completely preventable. 12 hours earlier, Tony Harnischfeger had called William Mulholland, the dam's designer, Los Angeles chief water engineer, the man who built the city, to report muddy water leaking from the western abutment. Muddy water means the foundation is washing away. Mulholland came to inspect, spent 2 hours examining the dam, declared it safe. "The leak is from road construction," he said. "Nothing to worry about." 12 hours later, catastrophic failure. This is the Daily History Chronicle, where we explore the moments that shaped our world and discover why they still matter today. I'm Richard Backus, publisher of University Teaching Edition, and every day I get to share a piece of history that I think you'll find as fascinating as I do. Let's dig into what happened, and here's what truly troubles me about the events of March 12th, 1928. Today, we have over 92,000 dams in the United States. The average age is 64 years. More than 16,700 are classified as high hazard, meaning if they fail, people will die. At least 2,500 of those high-hazard dams are in poor or unsatisfactory condition. We know this. We have the data. Engineers have inspected them, identified the problems, and calculated the risks. And we're doing almost nothing about it. The St. Francis Dam disaster isn't just history. It's a warning we keep ignoring. Let me build the clock for you on how William Mulholland, a brilliant, self-taught Irish immigrant who became America's greatest water engineer, made the worst mistake of his life and killed over 400 people. William Mulholland arrived in Los Angeles in 1877 at age 22. Irish immigrant, ran away after a beating, drifted across America, and ended up in a semi-arid basin that would become a massive city. L.A. in 1877, 9,000 people, no reliable water. The Los Angeles River, sometimes a trickle, sometimes dry. Mulholland started as a ditch digger, taught himself engineering at night, and worked his way up. By 1902, he was chief engineer of LA's new municipal water department. Then he pulled off a miracle. Between 1908 and 1913, Mulholland designed and built the Los Angeles Aqueduct, a 233-mile engineering marvel that brought water from the Owens Valley across deserts and mountains to Los Angeles. It was the longest aqueduct in the world at the time. It made Los Angeles possible. Without Mulholland's aqueduct, LA wouldn't grow. No Hollywood, no sprawl, no megacity. He quite literally built Los Angeles. He became a national hero, the self-taught Irishman who conquered nature. When the aqueduct opened in 1913, Mulholland's only comment was, "There it is, take it." By the 1920s, LA's population exploded. 100,000 in 1900 to over 1 million by 1925. Even with the aqueduct, the city needed storage. Water flowed straight to the ocean. Waste. Mulholland proposed dams. One in San Francisco Canyon. Problem, he was brilliant at aqueducts and earthen dams. Concrete gravity dams, he designed exactly one. No formal training, no degree, no theoretical background in concrete dam design. Just experience, intuition, and supreme confidence. The St. Francis Dam was completed in 1926. It took 2 years to build and cost $1.23 million. Curved concrete wall, 205 feet high, 700 feet wide at the crest. Designed to hold 38,000 acre-feet of water, 12.4 billion gallons. From the beginning, there were problems. Cracks appeared in the concrete. Mulholland inspected them, declared they were normal contraction cracks from concrete curing. He had them filled with oakum and grout. More cracks appeared. Mulholland inspected again. Normal settlement, he said. Leaks started, small at first. Mulholland, all dams leak. This is normal seepage. The leaks got worse. By early March 1928, water was visibly flowing down the western abutment. Mulholland ordered a drain pipe installed to channel the water away. On March 7, 1928, the reservoir reached full capacity for the first time. Mulholland inspected and proclaimed it safe. On March 12, 1928, at 10:30 a.m., dam keeper Tony Harnischfeger noticed the water leaking from the western abutment had turned muddy, brown, dirty water. This is the critical warning sign. Clear water leaking means it's just seeping through pores in concrete. Muddy water indicates the foundation is eroding, washing away beneath the dam. Harnischfeger called Mulholland immediately. Mulholland arrived with his assistant around noon. They inspected the leak for 2 hours. Mulholland concluded the muddy water was coming from a nearby road construction project, not from under the dam. "Everything is fine," he said. 12 hours later, at 11:57 p.m., the St. Francis Dam collapsed. The way I see this, Mulholland wasn't incompetent. He was overconfident, supremely, fatally overconfident. He'd built the aqueduct, a triumph of engineering. He'd solved problems everyone said were impossible. He'd made Los Angeles. He was America's preeminent water engineer, and he believed his judgment was infallible. When cracks appeared, he rationalized them. When leaks developed, he explained them away. When muddy water signaled foundation failure, he attributed it to road construction. He saw what he expected to see, not what was actually there. Here's what we know now. The rock foundation was fatally flawed. The eastern side of the canyon was red conglomerate, ancient landslide debris that looked solid but dissolved when saturated. The western side was schist with a layer of palionite, a clay-like material that becomes slippery when wet. Geologists didn't understand these formations in 1928. Science didn't exist yet. Mulholland couldn't have known. But here's what he could have known. He built the dam alone. No peer review, no independent engineers are checking his work, no safety oversight. One man's judgment determined whether 12.4 billion gallons of water would stay contained or kill hundreds of people. And when warnings appeared, cracks, leaks, muddy water, there was no institutional structure to question him. He was William Mulholland. He built the aqueduct. Who would dare suggest he was wrong? 3 days after the disaster, at the coroner's inquest, Mulholland testified for 5 hours. His voice shook. At one point, he said, "Don't blame anyone else. You just fasten it on me. If there was human error, I was the human." Later he added, "I envy the dead." The coroner's jury found error in engineering judgment, but cleared Mulholland of criminal culpability. How could he have known about the unstable rock formations? The science didn't exist, but they made one recommendation. The construction and operation of a great dam should never be left to the sole judgment of one man, no matter how eminent. Mulholland retired immediately. He was 73 years old. The man who'd built Los Angeles became a broken recluse. He died in 1935, never having recovered. Both things are true. William Mulholland was a genius engineer who made Los Angeles possible, and William Mulholland's catastrophic failure killed over 400 people. His success and his failure are inseparable. The supreme confidence that let him build the impossible aqueduct is the same confidence that let him ignore warnings about the dam. I find myself thinking about what happens when expertise becomes hubris, when decades of success make you certain you can't be wrong, when your track record is so brilliant that questioning yourself seems unnecessary. Mulholland had earned his confidence, but confidence isn't the same as correctness. We're still living with the consequences and the lessons of March 12, 1928. After St. Francis, California, created comprehensive dam safety regulations, the legislature established the state's first dam inspection program. They created licensing requirements for civil engineers. They mandated independent peer review for major projects. The federal government eventually created the National Dam Safety Program after another disaster in 1977. The Toccoa Falls Dam in Georgia failed, killing 39 college students. These programs have prevented countless disasters. But here's the problem. We've stopped investing in them. Right now, the United States has over 92,000 dams. The average age is 64 years old. By 2025, 7 out of 10 dams will be more than 50 years old. Many of these dams were built to standards that are now obsolete. They were designed for climate conditions that no longer exist. They're experiencing more frequent, more intense rainfall than they were engineered to handle. More than 16,700 dams are classified as high hazard potential, meaning their failure would likely cause loss of life. At least 2,500 of those high-hazard dams are in poor or unsatisfactory condition right now. We know which dams are dangerous. Engineers have inspected them, reports have been filed, risk assessments completed, and we're not fixing them. The American Society of Civil Engineers gives U.S. dam infrastructure a grade of D. That's the same grade you'd get for barely passing. The estimated cost to repair all the aging, dangerous dams owned by individuals, companies, communities, and state/local governments, $76 billion. How much did Congress allocate in the 2021 infrastructure bill for dam repairs? $3 billion, 4% of what's needed. In 2017, the Oroville Dam spillway in California, the tallest dam in the United States, partially failed after heavy rain. 188,000 people were evacuated. It could have been catastrophic. Engineers had warned about problems with the spillway for years. Repairs were too expensive. It'll be fine. In 2020, 2 dams in Michigan, Edenville and Sanford, failed after heavy rain. 10,000 people evacuated. The entire town of Midland is nearly submerged under 9 feet of water. Both dams had been cited for safety violations for years. Repairs were too expensive. It'll be fine. The pattern is identical to St. Francis. Known problems, deferred maintenance. It'll be fine until it isn't. And climate change is making everything worse. More intense rainfall, more frequent storms. Dams designed for 100-year floods are now experiencing 500-year floods. Except those aren't 500-year floods anymore. They're happening every few years. Here's what's haunting. We have better science than Mulholland had. Better engineering, better monitoring, better inspection programs. We know exactly which dams are dangerous, but we have the same problem Mulholland had. We're relying on confidence instead of action. Those dams have been there for decades. They'll be fine for a while longer. We're gambling that they'll hold until when? Until we have the political will to spend the money? Until after the next disaster? The St. Francis Dam held for 2 years before it failed. Some of our aging dams have held for 80-plus years. That doesn't mean they're safe. It means we've been lucky. I respect William Mulholland. I respect what he built. He created the infrastructure that made modern Los Angeles possible. He was brilliant, determined, and took responsibility for his catastrophic mistake. But his failure killed 431-plus people. And the lesson is clear. Confidence is not a substitute for safety. Past success doesn't guarantee future performance. And when experts say it'll be fine, we should ask, what if it isn't? The difference between 1928 and 2026 is this. Mulholland didn't know the rock was unstable. We know our dams are aging. Mulholland didn't have the science to predict failure. We have inspections, risk assessments, and engineering reports. We know the problems. We're choosing not to fix them. That's not engineering failure. That's political failure. The contemporary question that matters. How many more people have to die before we invest in infrastructure we know is failing? Because that's the pattern. We build. We don't maintain. We defer repairs because they're expensive. We ignore warnings because nothing has failed yet. We wait until disaster forces us to act. And then we're shocked when the disaster happens. St. Francis killed 431-plus people. Bodies were found for 66 years. The last victim was discovered in 1994. Some families never recovered their dead, never got closure, never got to bury their loved ones. The Ruiz family, all 7 of them, are buried together on a hillside above the canyon. Parents and 5 children, washed away in seconds because a dam that should have been safe wasn't. Tony Harnischfeger called Mulholland that morning about the muddy water. He knew something was wrong. Mulholland told him it was fine. 12 hours later, Tony, his wife, and his child were dead. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Right now, somewhere in America, there's a dam showing warning signs. Engineers know about it. Reports have been filed. Repairs are needed. And the answer is probably too expensive. It'll be fine. It's held this long. Until the night it doesn't. I'm Richard Backus, and this is the Daily History Chronicle. Tomorrow, we'll explore another moment that shaped our world. Until then, ask yourself, when we ignore warnings because fixing problems is expensive, who pays the price? When we defer maintenance because infrastructure is invisible until it fails, what are we gambling with? And when history shows us the exact pattern, known problems, deferred action, catastrophic failure, why do we keep repeating it? Because that's what the St. Francis Dam teaches us, not just about William Mulholland's mistake, but about ours. Thank you for your time. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe. If you really enjoyed it, then please tell a friend. I hope you will join me again tomorrow for more of our shared history.